Today our story begins with the fact that hooligans decided to beat up some kid, and they definitely won't be able to fight him off so easily. Suddenly some lady with blue hair appears and begins to drive these idiots away, telling them not to touch her brother, and in general today, they most likely will not survive. Damn it! She turns out to be incredibly strong and has already managed to beat these guys, and they ran away shouting that they would tell everything to their mother. And now it's time to start dealing with your brother. Why the hell is he constantly being bullied by these freaks? Let him stop crying as soon as possible. But he cried not because those guys beat him, but because they called him an orphan and refused to play with him. Of course, the little sister didn't like what those idiots said, so she just stroked the guy's hair. She simply said that the boy is not an orphan because he has Nuna. She will become his mom and dad and his best friend. So he needs to quickly return home, and Nuna will make a big steak for him. Of course, the boy immediately calmed down and began to rejoice that he would eat a delicious steak. He even promised that after he grew up, he would definitely marry his Nuna. For her, it was an interesting statement. She likes guys who eat steak with carrots. After which the actions are transferred to the present. This is our main character, a blonde man named Kwak Jahyun. How well he sleeps while they are trying to wake him up. The girl was still trying to wake him up, and it seems that she is just great at using wrestling techniques. After a couple of such grabs, the boy is definitely not sleeping anymore. Just look how quickly he woke up. He immediately begins to beg for mercy and asks Nuna to cancel the seizure, but his first lecture was supposed to be a lecture, so let him get ready as soon as possible. After such powerful blows like Saitama's, the boy clearly doesn't feel very well. Even Nuna decided to play a joke and asked how his morning warm-up was. Let her quickly come down and have breakfast because she also had to get ready for work. This is his older sister, whose name is Kang Hana, an incredibly powerful and beautiful girl. Damn it, after such a capture, the main character will definitely have a sore neck for several more days. He hints that the girl must be from a rich family if she can so easily maim people, but Nuna reminds him that they are from the same family. And he also knows very well that there wasn't much money in the family, and the main character could at least start studying diligently. Coming out to the kitchen, the boy said hello to someone, and she was so surprised that the main character had already woken up. God, what a beautiful girl. This is the second sister of the main character named Song Yo. She just prepared breakfast, so let them sit down at the table as soon as possible. Like a small child, she tries to feed the boy with a spoon, but he is no longer a child, and it infuriates him that they treat him like that. The food had already been eaten, so the boy went to brush his teeth before anyone went to the bathroom. Meanwhile, my sister was rushing around the apartment looking for her things. She was completely sure that she had left them here. The second sister appears and said that she sent all her things to the wash, but why the hell did she do that because she hardly even wore them? Still, she decides to take all her things back. It seems that both sisters have to go to work, but she still had to feed Sabyok. Something strange was just happening in the background, which is why he couldn't turn around like his sisters. While the sisters were discussing the fact that today they would need to stay overnight in kindergarten, the main character turned and told them to stop acting as if he was not here. Nunu just laughed at how the boy started to get angry and decided to take advantage of the moment. Since the boy suffers so much from this, then on the contrary, she is going to continue doing what she is doing. Of course, the main character did not expect this turn of events at all, because Nuna usually behaves completely differently. What kind of expression does he even have on his face? Why is the guy acting so strange? Here, the main character already decides to make a joke by saying that her jokes are completely useless because Nuna never had a boyfriend, so all her beauty was completely useless. After such a joke, the boy received many blows to his face, and now they are both ready to leave the house and go about their business. He bowed and wished her good work, while he understood perfectly well that she would not easily forgive him for that joke. My sister was definitely furious because he joked about the guy, and now she doesn't know exactly how to apologize. Suddenly someone called the guy from behind. It turns out that this is his friend from the area named Shin Sane. She and the boy have not seen each other for a long time. She asked if he was going to study. Yes, he is going to study, but the girl just had a competition soon, so she is training hard. The main character wished that she would defeat everyone there. This face was clearly familiar to her. The girl realized that the main character had once again been rude to his Nuna, and now she was terribly angry. While our boy was simply shocked by such a statement, the lady thought that this was completely normal. The main character was quite understandable. Of course, she simply cannot help but make fun of him by saying that the boy has liked Nuna for a long time, and he thought that she was crazy for once again deciding to start this conversation. What the hell? He's not going to play Monopoly with his sisters. But Shin-Seen was sure that they weren't his family. Although this girl only liked to play Monopoly with her family members, damn it, she calmly tells him about it. The boy remembered the situation when he and his sister were sitting on the couch and she, in turn, ordered him to make ramen. Then they had a fight and he said that she had hands, so let her do it herself. He made a statement that relatives are those who have lived with him since birth, but these sisters did nothing but constantly infuriate him. Another situation in which the main character was already too late, and the older sister decided that she urgently needed to give him a scarf because it was too cold outside. In such cases, a friend has a simply brilliant idea that if the main character simply imagines that there are sisters standing in front of him who want to play Monopoly right now. In this case, the situation changes completely, because now they are not brother and sisters, but a warrior who went out to fight against his opponents. Why the hell does she always make this exact situation in which he plays Monopoly with his sisters? Maybe he doesn't like board games at all. The girls were so happy then that their brother finally decided to play Monopoly with them. It was quite difficult to imagine. And now the boy can just open his eyes. Well, what's this? Couldn't the sister become exactly the same opponent as the others? But for some reason, the boy began to cry. Now he understood that his friend was a completely ordinary lover of playing board games. Where did she even manage to find these phrases? But the girl was sure that her friend was exactly the same. She felt so sorry that the main character refused to listen to her suggestions, because such beautiful girls as his sisters are only around once in a lifetime, so why shouldn't he play Monopoly with them? Damn it, the guy refuses to listen to all this nonsense and asks her to just leave. He'll watch enough crap on the internet forever, and now her brain is definitely rotten. While we are shown his Nuna, the main character was only thinking about the fact that such a situation would definitely never happen, and this girl is thinking about unnecessary things. Meanwhile, Nuna calmly walked to work, terribly angry because there were traffic jams everywhere in the morning. Everyone spoiled her mood from the very morning. And the worst thing is that she will have to work late today, when suddenly she noticed something strange. What kind of strange bear is addressing her? In his opinion, Chairman Khan looked too tired today. Maybe something happened. It turns out to be just a toy in the hands of a little girl, only this is not just a girl. She was the head of the development of innovative products in her company. The girl asked our madam to tell us about her problem and maybe she could help, but Nuna just thought that another annoying person stood in her way and said that everything was fine with her. By the look of Nuna, everything was definitely abnormal, of course. The boss noticed this and decided to guess what happened herself. Perhaps she was in a bad mood precisely because of love. Most likely she had a fight with the guy she lives with. Still, she decides to agree because the director surprisingly guessed what happened. Good as always. And she was clearly too proud of herself, because the little girl's insight turns out to be too strong. And then they decide to tell us that one of our Nuna's biggest complexes was precisely the fact that she never had relationships with guys. All because all her life she did nothing but take care of her family. The root of the evil ended up being a rumor that she herself started that she was living with an incredibly cool guy, whom she loved very much. In reality, she told the director that they had been living together for too long, and now she sees only disadvantages in him. Suddenly, the girl takes some kind of bottle out of her pocket and invites the girl to try the latest development of their company. The temporary name for them was Hot Perfume. As she could already guess, this is not the most ordinary perfume. One breath and the guy can fall in love with her again. Of course, Nuna immediately tries to refuse this, saying that she can cope with the problem without the help of a love potion, but the mini-boss still told her to try their new remedy, after which she simply begins to run away at the speed of a flash, saying that she should definitely try their new remedy. Nuna tried to stop the director, but only she had already run away. Next, the actions are transferred to the evening at the moment when Nuna returned after working all day. Still, she still had those magical perfumes, and now the lady didn't even know what to do with this bottle. And for some reason, it was too quiet in the apartment, although my sister seemed to have warned me that she would be spending the night at work today. But my brother should just be at home. Why the hell Kwok decided not to meet her after work? He was completely lazy. He just sat in his room and didn't even answer her. Now she even decided to spy on what he was doing so important. What the hell is this idiot doing? Did he decide to play Monopoly with some girl right now? Yes, it was definitely difficult to imagine, but the main character is actually playing Monopoly right now. Here's a picture for memes, of course. Nuna was simply shocked when she saw such a picture. But what's even more important is that there's no girl there. The main character was just playing Monopoly with the computer. He approaches him so carefully, like a ghost running around the apartment, and doesn't even show that she's there. Of course, she needed proof that he was playing Monopoly, so a couple of photos were immediately taken. Kwok clearly doesn't like this turn of events and asks what the hell she's doing here. And Nuna just continues to stand with this malicious smile, filming everything that happens on her phone. Why the hell did the sister decide that she could so calmly enter his room? But the door was already open, so she decided that she could enter. She wondered when Kwok managed to grow so much that he had already started playing Monopoly, maybe post photos on social networks to brag that she has such a cool brother. It seems the main character doesn't like this idea. So he also turns out to have a refined taste. chose such an incredible game as Monopoly and played against tough opponents. She simply warned the boy not to play against seriously tough opponents, otherwise he would lose his last brains and wouldn't even be able to find a girl. Of course, the boy is not going to tolerate all these insults and says that Nuna herself has not been able to find a boyfriend in all these years. These words were like a knife in the heart because Nuna couldn't find anyone because she was at work all day to feed the others. But in the opinion of the main character, all these were just empty excuses. If Nuna had wanted to, she would have long ago married a really cool guy. And maybe she will finally leave his room and let him continue playing Monopoly, or she just likes watching him play. Of course, while the boy was regretting that he was unable to finish the game, his sister was already terribly angry with him. So she will work until the night and this idiot is here playing Monopoly, and all she gets in return is that he scolds her. Well, nothing. She definitely has a plan for revenge. She just had the very perfume that her boss gave her, and it was time to try it out. Next, we are shown that the girl was already too tired and therefore decided to rest. After all, a hot shower can solve absolutely all problems. After which she decides to remember the words that the mini-boss said, because the man who smells this perfume will immediately want to play Monopoly. She, of course, had to try these perfumes on her boyfriend, but she didn't have one, so the terrible brother would also go as a guinea pig. He will want to play Monopoly, and only his sister will be at home, which means that he will have to suffer all day and play Monopoly with his computer. After which the actions are transferred to some supermarket where the girl worked. The bell rang, which means that someone went to the store to quickly greet the buyer. It turns out that this is our little main character, and the lady was surprised that he came here. What a good brother he turns out to be. He brought the girl lunch because she forgot it at home. The girl was simply shocked that the boy had come such a long way, just to give her food because it was very dangerous. But the boy himself was able to pass all the traffic lights. He looked around the store so carefully, as if he had never been to such places. Still, she decided that the boy wanted something and thought to buy something for him, but his eyes were about to fly out of their sockets. The guy couldn't believe that Nuna was so kind, but she told him to choose whatever he wanted. Still, she begins to understand that she is in a dream, and sees her brother when he was still very young. As a child, he really was so cute. Only now the girl was wondering how from such a good guy he managed to grow into such an idiot. Apparently this moment will forever remain a mystery to her, when suddenly they started calling the girl and she had to wake up. God, it must be scary to see such a face right after you wake up. It turns out to be the main character who apparently decided that it was time to play Monopoly. Although the reason there seemed to be a little different, he tried to wake up Nuna saying that something strange was happening now. Now she simply doesn't understand what the hell is going on here, and while she was sitting with such a strange face, he asked her to check what was happening. Damn it. After all, the girl is constantly working from morning to night, and also her brother, who constantly wakes her up. Let him tell her what happened to him. The situation turns out to be critical, because he wanted to play Monopoly too much, and no matter how hard he tried to play with the computer, nothing helped. And now she had such a frightening expression on her face. Did the guy really wake her up just because of this? But he was speaking in all seriousness. It wasn't like the last time, because then he could just calmly play Monopoly on the computer, but now he can't do it and he doesn't even know what to do. But now she has a very happy face because Nuna finally realized that the remedy worked. Although something strange begins to happen because those perfumes still haven't been tested, so what did the boss even give her? And then his sister invites him to simply play Monopoly with the computer, exactly as he did before. Only he has already tried everything, and nothing helps him. Well, the girl no longer sees any other ways to solve the problem, so the boy tells him to wait for a while. Now she will call an ambulance. But he was sure that he would explode even before the ambulance arrived, and his sister did not understand why he had to explode. Did he really want to play Monopoly so badly? Well, let's assume what the guy suggests if he doesn't intend to go to the hospital. In response to this, the main character himself simply fell to the ground because he did not know what to do in such a situation. Life clearly did not prepare him for this. And then a simply brilliant idea comes into his empty head. Maybe Nuna herself will play Monopoly with him, then he won't have to call an ambulance. But she understood from the very beginning that everything would lead to this. Has she really done something wrong that now her whole day is going so badly? Of course, the boy himself was to blame for this situation, because if he hadn't started joking about the fact that she didn't have a boyfriend, she wouldn't have poured that perfume on him. Okay, after all, it turns out that I feel too sorry for my brother, and he might also die, so let him get a field for a Monopoly. The boy didn't even understand what she said at first, but he himself asked her for help, so now they will play Monopoly. But what a shock she was when she realized that the boy was simply an excellent Monopoly player. She was even scared to play against such a master. She remembers his words about the fact that he wanted to play Monopoly much more than usual, and now Nuna thinks that the spirits that the boss gave her are to blame for everything. Suddenly, the boy decides to stop her thoughts and says that it's time for her to stop just looking at the playing field. But still, the game looked incredibly scary, and the lady was worried that she wouldn't be able to cope with it so easily. She had never had a boyfriend before, and even more so, the girl had never played board games before, so she didn't really know what to do. It turns out she knew the basic instructions for using the game, and was still able to understand how to use the game. Okay, I take my words back. Although her character was simply terrible, she did not understand at all how to play a regular Monopoly game, and there were also a bunch of rules that needed to be remembered. She was really scared. The girl felt like the dice were in her fist, and she was afraid to throw them onto the field. And then there's this damn kid who seems to like playing Monopoly. It seems that the game of Monopoly could become much more interesting. Suddenly, the boy calls Nuna's name, and she asks what happened to him. It just seemed to him that the game of Monopoly is not fun enough, so he thinks that the rules need to be complicated. She remembers the video in which he played Monopoly, and clearly remembers how the girl played with advanced rules, of course. She immediately wanted to refuse, but her brother said that then he would die if he didn't play. To the surprise of the main character, the sister still agreed to help him. Of course, she is not against the advanced rules of Monopoly, but most likely she does this so as not to show her own fear. For a long time, she tries to convince herself that this is the most ordinary board game, in which case she decides to start playing as soon as possible. Of course, the difficulty of the game will increase gradually, and then it will only slightly complicate what was before. Damn it! The main character was simply shocked that Nuna could play so cool. The sister herself also noticed that he was just playing great. In such cases, the game continues. What a nightmare. It seems like he hasn't cleared the Monopoly board since last time. To be honest, playing on an uncleaned field was just terrible, but apparently she's gradually starting to care because the game was really cool. And the main character himself doesn't care at all on the field, because Nuna is simply an excellent opponent against whom it is interesting to fight. The action decides to move to the past when the boy remembered how Nuna always behaved, and now she has become a real adult lady with whom you can play Monopoly. Suddenly, the main character decides to use a secret technique, and the game ends in the blink of an eye. It seems that the girl did not expect this and was even scared. Of course, the lady is simply in shock because she so suddenly managed to lose to him. All the same, Hannah decides that she doesn't need to think about how she plays Monopoly with her brother, because she was gradually losing her mind since he won. That means the problem is solved and we can leave. But everything turns out to be completely different, because the problem was not solved. The main character still wanted to play Monopoly, only now Nuna refused to play board games. If so, he decides to make a simply brilliant proposal. If the girl doesn't want to play Monopoly, then they could play poker. Damn it. How did she even manage to end up in such a situation? Even if she told someone, they definitely wouldn't believe it. Of course, she was simply shocked that he invited her to play cards, but the main character said that this is exactly what he meant. She immediately begins to panic and beats him with pillows, saying that they simply cannot play cards. But in the boy's opinion, everything was completely normal because they had already played Monopoly. Suddenly, the boy simply said the word please because it was incredibly difficult for him. It seems that her sense of conscience awoke because it was because of her that he found himself in such a shitty situation. A brother appears before her eyes, only he is much younger than he actually is, and this little boy asks her to play cards with him to make him feel better. Damn it! It seems that Nuna will soon just start crying and now she doesn't even know what to answer. In her opinion, this was completely dishonest because the main character used a weapon called cute eyes. He was so cute in childhood, and now he has turned into a moron. Although it doesn't matter that he's cute, she won't play cards with him. Although, looking into his eyes again, she realized that she simply could not fight against his sweet eyes and agreed to play cards. Technically, it was her fault that the boy is now suffering from the fact that he wants to play cards, so nothing will happen from one board game. Of course, even the boy himself was shocked because he didn't even expect that Nuna would agree to play cards. But why the hell did she choose poker? Is the girl really that brave? But it didn't matter to her, because the sooner this game ends, the sooner they can part ways, so let her deal the cards as quickly as possible. As a child, he simply hated the way Nuna looked, but only now he began to consider her a very beautiful girl. The surprise does not take long to arrive, and now the girl is simply shocked by the fact that he is not only a master of Monopoly, but also a master of poker. What the hell is this guy even doing? Why is he using such strong tactics from the very beginning of the game? But the main character was sure that he had to play this way. They are both masters of this game, so in poker, he will use the most powerful tactics. Damn it, why the hell is this idiot worried about this? Let him just play poker and leave. But of course, no one is going to listen to some woman. The main character knows better what to do in this game. Impossible to be happy because she was playing poker with her younger brother, the lady considered herself simply abnormal and did not know what to do. But she thought it was too early to play cards. Poker was magical, and he needed to defend himself with something. But he didn't have shields. He thought that he could play poker without shields. His sister thought he was crazy, but the boy didn't listen to her, so he played a combination. A huge amount of damage immediately passes through her, and the lady thinks about what is happening now. Why the hell did it hurt so much? After all, these are the most ordinary magic cards. He didn't hit her with his hands, but the main character asked her not to talk nonsense. He still decides to give his sister advice to play much better, let her carefully monitor what happens during the game, but it seemed to her that his advice was completely useless. Although the main character himself thought that this game was simply incredibly cool, not every day you get the opportunity to play poker. Nuna became just an excellent opponent for him. He didn't even think that someone like her could play like a real pro and why she still couldn't find a boyfriend. Although at one point the main character accidentally used too strong a poker combination and therefore suffered too much damage. The girl simply asked him not to play at full strength because, over time, she would no longer be able to fend off his attacks. But of course, the main character didn't care at all about her requests. He just liked playing poker. But still, she asked him not to hit her with strong combinations because at work they could see the bruises that remain after these blows. He remembers that usually the girl would simply beat him if suddenly something didn't suit her. But then she asked him so nicely, how strange it all is. He asked to show his face because it was all really strange. In the end, it turns out that the girl herself liked this game. The boy thought that the girl felt bad from so many magical attacks. This was precisely the reason why she asked him not to look. Although in his opinion everything was completely normal, because they are a family and now they are just having a good time while playing poker. Damn, it seems the guy really decided to kiss the girl right during the poker game. Nuna thought it was too weird, but she also couldn't do anything else, so she kissed him back. My mind gradually began to change because playing poker with my brother and kissing was incredible. But damn it, thoughts are now appearing in her head that in the future they will get married and then they will have to start their own family. Let me remind you that the main character is not a brother, but simply lives with them. In her opinion, such a future was simply disgusting, but still she did not want to end their poker game like that. Now she doesn't care at all, so let her use her strongest tactics, then she can just take a pill and everything will be normal again. Damn, this turns out to be completely different from what she thought. She couldn't even think that his last magical attack would be so strong. After all, magical poker is a cool thing. Then suddenly they decide to tell us a story about their father, who was a real bastard. He had many marriages and the same number of divorces, and so on every year. The wives, of course, simply went crazy, and over time transferred to him the right to take away those children that they had. Our main character was born in exactly the same way. After another marriage, the father brought home a new child, this time a son. The girl simply could not say that their dad was a good father because, as a rule, he simply did not show up at home and constantly spent time with new girls. But the situation that happened in high school simply broke the girl. He left her a note asking for forgiveness for leaving them. He was given the opportunity to work abroad, and he moved. Anger simply overwhelmed the girl because she couldn't believe that such a bastard like him managed to become their father. And it was at that moment when she looked at her sisters and brother that she promised herself that she would never become the same parent as her father. From that moment on, she began to look after the whole family and took on too much responsibility. But damn, something happened that she couldn't expect because she managed to play poker with her younger brother. Of course, she had too much anger because she definitely didn't have anything like that in her plans. She decided that she had definitely gone crazy because not only had she played poker, but she had also allowed the strongest techniques to be used, as if she had lost the last of her brains. It was also strange because the boy was the youngest in the family and played poker like a real pro. And then she begins to think because it seems that Nuna has forgotten something very important. Suddenly, another sister appears and is looking for the main character. She wanted to look in his room, but he was not there. Meanwhile, Nuna is just sitting in shock and doesn't even know what to say. It's just that the boy fell asleep almost immediately after they played poker, and now the girl couldn't understand how this happened. Damn. She completely forgot that the second sister was also in the house. Now she will definitely understand that they were playing poker. She speaks as if playing poker is a crime. But everything turned out to be resolved by itself. My sister thought that the main character simply decided to come here to relax, as if he were a small child. For now, there was just an awkward silence, and the girl didn't even know what to answer to this, while her sister thought that he remembered his childhood and came to sleep in the elder's room. In general, it was just an excellent excuse, so the girl says that everything was exactly like that. It seems that he is already an adult boy and is afraid to be alone. She even begins to envy Nuna, because after the main character grew up, he stopped coming to her room. In such cases, let him and the girl go downstairs together because she has already prepared breakfast for them. It was a very tense moment, and Madame was simply shocked that they had not actually just been caught playing poker. Just look at this idiot right now, lying and sleeping like a baby, as if he wasn't the one who beat her at poker a few minutes ago. While she was thinking about the fact that the main character didn't care at all about this, she decides that it's time for her too to calm down because the danger has passed anyway. After which she decides, like a real sister, to wake up her brother, and with the best technique she begins to beat him. This is where the video ends. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and like so that the new part will come out soon.